One of my favourite JJRCs was the Elfie. Well, this one's even better because it's got optical flow. So into us from GearBest is the JJRC H61. Now, we've always been a fan of these JJRC, also known as Eachine drones. They are fun, they're cheap, they're cheerful, they're not incredible flyers, but they are there for fun. So let's have a look at what comes in the box. So there it is. I've already taken out the external wrapping and packaging. It came nicely securely packaged. We've got the drone there first of all, which is super lightweight. I'm just going to put that to one side to see what else we get. So first of all, there are 4 spare props there, which is good because you do sometimes break these, although I must say, based on these previous JJRC and Eachine drones, they are quite durable actually. So you get some spare props. You also get an instruction manual, which is good because it tells you how to install the app and also how to do other things. There also is an augmented reality game called AR Shooter, and there's an introduction to that there. You also get the charger, that's a little USB charger there, so you just plug that JST connector into the battery and charge it up. There's probably a little LED as well on the plug to show you whether it's charged or not. And then there's also a screwdriver to probably help you when you're changing the props on the quad. And finally, underneath all of it is a little carry bag as well, a soft carry bag to store the drone in. Anyway, let's get on to looking at the drone itself in more detail. So first of all, a reminder about the context of these types of drones. This is only £35, which is about $40 or so. Therefore, it is for fun. It's a toy. Don't expect serious, great quality shots out of it. Having said that, some of the photos that are produced by these are actually not too bad. So this is from GearBest. Links to it are in the video description. It's very, very lightweight, and it's nice because it folds up into the sort of size of your phone, actually. If I take my Samsung S8 Plus, you can actually see it's smaller than my phone. In terms of size, but thickness obviously not. But these are super portable. Now on the front of it, we've got a little camera, and that is actually a 720p camera. So I'm guessing by that, it's somewhere between 0.3 and 1.3 megapixels. The camera is also rotatable, so you can point it up and down a little bit. It doesn't actually rotate all the way down, which is a shame. It goes down about 30 degrees, I would say, maybe 35 degrees, but it's going to be sufficient for getting that selfie shot. It's also, of course, worth noting that you can't adjust that automatically. It is something you have to move manually before you take flight. On the top, we've got our power button, and if we press that, you can see we've also got some nice LEDs which illuminate this quad as well. Press and hold it to turn on the quad, and that then also turns on the lights on the front and the back. So we've got some nice red LEDs on the back, which flash when it's waiting for connection, and then some really bright green LEDs on the front. They look absolutely lovely. I'm going to leave those on actually, why not? Now, the best thing about this drone is the little feature it has hiding underneath, and that is an optical flow camera. Now, this is a feature that we're seeing equipped on more and more of these budget drones. Believe it or not, in the center of this little ring here, that middle blob there is a tiny, tiny little camera. And what it does, it points down at the ground, and by looking at the ground, it can work out whether the drone is drifting left, right, forwards, or backwards. And if it detects that drift, it corrects it. So without a GPS, without GLONASS, without any kind of other positioning technology, this cheap budget drone should be able to hold its position perfectly, and we will test that in the flight test. But for the price, it's great to see JJRC or Eachine finally equipping these budget drones with optical flow. Also, with the underside now exposed, you can see the folding arms. This is a nice feature as well. So we simply fold those out, and they click when they get to their furthest extent so that you know they're folded out fully. There you go, that's how it looks with the arms folded out. So that's quite nice as well. When you are transporting it, you fold them back in and they're not gonna break or hit or catch on anything. So we'll just quickly remove the battery to look at that as well. Press and hold the power button to turn off the drone like that. And the battery removal seems pretty simple as well. Slide that and click it, and then you pull up this little catch here and pull directly down, and there you can see the battery. So that's a lithium polymer battery. It's a 1S 850 milliamp. So quite a big capacity, but only a 1-cell battery. So not loads of power, but considering that this drone weighs nothing, I think that'll be absolutely fine. To charge it, you plug that little USB charger into this little port here. So we'll put the battery back in, and you do that by doing the exact reverse and then slide that back like that. So remember, this one doesn't come with any sort of transmitter, it's entirely mobile phone controlled, so I think on that basis it's time to get onto the flight test. Remember that if you enjoy this review, links to the products are in the video description, so do take a look and remember to subscribe. So the wind is coming in today, so perhaps not a great day to be testing this drone here from JJRC, the H61, but let's give it a go. So I'm going to press and hold the button on there until the lights underneath start glowing like they are now and flashing. Let's fold out the props like that and put it on our lovely landing pad. Now I'm going to start the camera slightly tilted down a little bit. Now I'm going to open my phone. Now the app scenario was a little bit weird. If you look at the manual, it says to download an app called JJRC/TST, I think it is. Now I searched for that and I didn't find it. I also tried to scan the QR code and that took me to a weird app that didn't have the H61 listed as supported. So instead I just went to the App Store on Android and downloaded the JJRC app. And if I press connect, you can see that that works fine. And we should now get our live stream, and there it is, yay! Now it is a bit overcast today, it's also getting a bit dark. It's 8 o'clock here, but we are in summer, so we still do have daylight hours. But the footage is perhaps going to be a bit too dark, but we will see. Anyway, I'm going to start recording on there. There is a bit of wind today, I'm going to set the sensitivity up to 60 as well, so that we get a bit more control. Press that and then press that button and we can now take off. So here we go, exciting. Press the up button and up it goes. Now remember, this one has an optical flow camera, and so in that respect it should hold its position, and it's doing a bloody good job actually. Remember, this is JJRC, also known as EDITORIAL. They're almost identical, these two brands. To produce a drone with optical flow that actually works for this kind of price is unbelievable, and it's a sign of really good things to come. I really don't think it'll be long before JJRC or EDITORIAL produce a drone that can compete with something like the Spark, at least as a minimum. But that hover is really good. I mean, it's staying there. You know, you can see now we've got the wind coming in. I've also got this hill over here which doesn't help in terms of creating rotor, and whoa, the wind's coming in now. The drone's struggling to keep its position, but yeah, it is really struggling there. It is strong wind, that as well. Let's turn the drone around and fly it into wind. Oh, okay, that wind really is picking up now. I don't know if this is going to be particularly successful actually. Okay, so the wind has blown the drone so far away that the drone has actually disconnected from Wi-Fi, and for that reason the drone has landed itself. So we've tested the fail-safe there. At least we know that works. Now that is the problem with these small brushed drones. They're not designed to cater for wind, they're designed for pretty still conditions. But it's cheap, that's the key thing here. So let's try that again. We don't have our lovely landing mat. Okay, so the wind has actually now died down, so we're going to give this another shot. Hopefully this is a little bit more successful. So I'm going to turn on the screen recording on the app, and then we're going to turn on the controls, and fingers crossed, let's take off again. Up it goes, wait for the optical flow to kick in. There we go, right, it's hovering. That's good. So hopefully on the screen, you can see me right now. Hello! And I'll start recording, and that is hovering really, really well. So very, very impressed with the optical flow. That works brilliantly. And it's just so typical. I take off, there's no wind, and what happens? Yep, the wind kicks in and it's now all over the place. Go away, wind. It's almost 9 o'clock here now at night. There should be no wind. Anyway, it's gone, yay. So let's fly this around a little bit. Now, as I said, this really is designed for calm, no wind situations. It's not really geared for really windy outdoor flight. But it's doing all right, actually. So if I let go of the controls, we should then see the optical flow kicking in. And yeah, we've got a nice steady image there. Let's turn it around so we can see us. There we are. walking towards it. Now, as I said, the lens on this, you can tilt, but you can't do it whilst it's in flight, which is a real shame. But there you go, we've got a good video of us right now. Now I'm going to stop recording video and I'm going to take a photo. So let's see what the photo looks like. Okay, here we go. Let's get in the middle of the shot first. And photo. Hopefully another one. Now, because I've ascended a little bit higher, the optical flow is struggling a little bit to hold its position. It's certainly not doing as well as it was before. So if you go lower, the optical flow sensor is going to work better because the camera's got more clarity of the ground. But yeah, so not great altitude on the optical flow for stability there. But again, the wind is coming in, so that's also playing quite a big part in this, unfortunately. So let's get a little bit more altitude. I'm going to be careful because it is windy and we may struggle with the drone holding its position. In fact, yeah, that is absolutely the case. Okay, so we're now indoors with the JJRC H61, and as we saw outside, this thing does not cater very well for windy conditions. Now, first of all, I apologise for the toys scattering throughout our house at the moment. We have a 1-year-old and he loves running around and throwing things. So anyway, got the app fired up. I'm going to start recording on that app. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is calibrate the app. So I'm going to do that by putting it on a flat surface and then pressing this button here, which you can see makes the lights flash and then stop. So that should calibrate the gyro and the accelerometers on this, and hopefully give us a more stable flight. Anyway, right, let's take off and see what happens. Now I'm hoping that the optical flow is going to impress us indoors because we don't have any wind. Certainly at the moment, it's doing a really, really good job and it's not shifting at all actually. So if I just stand still, yeah, that's really good. Now, when you do fly a drone like this in a small room, you're going to get wind from the rotors themselves, blowing the room around a little bit. So you're going to get turbulence, but that is really, really good. So let's rotate it around. Let's get me in the shot, actually. There we are. Hello! That's all working nicely. So let's slowly fly this through the house. Well, let's certainly try anyway. Looking good so far. Rotate it around. Now, what I do notice with this is that the optical flow takes a short time to stabilize. And what I mean by that is if I give it some input, so I make it move right and then let go, there is a bit of drift before the optical flow camera locks on to make it maintain its hover position. But it's not so bad. The on-screen stream is looking really, really good actually. Hardly any latency there. Basically what we'd expect from a Wi-Fi drone. Let's fly it around a bit. So as I say, you do need to just remember when you let go of the controls that it is going to drift a little bit. There's also, when you yaw, I've noticed a bit of drift as well. Let's fly it over these flowers. Oi, that was close. But yeah, the colours, I mean, if you look at the flowers there, the colours are really vibrant actually. It's not a great quality camera, but remember how cheap this thing is. You can't expect crisp, beautiful video from a drone like this. So that's really not too bad at all. And I'm hands off at the moment, and it is just hovering quite nicely. Now you can see it's drifting up, and I think that's because we're quite low to this surface. And so we're getting caught up in the downdraft a bit there. But the video feed's pretty stable as well. You know, there's no EIS on this. It's raw. So let's be a bit adventurous now and let's go outside. Now it's a much calmer day today, so less wind. Let's see how this goes. See if we can get it through the door in one piece. And we're out. So far, so good. Now this garden is a bit of a wind tunnel sometimes, but if I just let off the controls now, yeah, it's drifting to the right. Yeah, it is drifting. Now I think that's because the optical flow is not going to work above a few meters with this one. Now, optical flow normally is pretty good for at least 2 or 3 meters, but on this one, that's certainly not the case. So very, very limited altitude capabilities with the optical flow on this one, which is a real shame. Looks like optical flow at best is going to work up to about 2 meters. Above that, you're in trouble. So yeah, not a very successful test flight for this little drone, unfortunately, but it is cheap. It's certainly not one of the best JJRC H61 models so far. But if you only intend on flying it indoors, it's going to be absolutely fine. It's just really flying it outdoors which is going to be the problem, sadly. So if you're looking for a cheap and cheerful drone that folds up, takes fairly average video and photo, then perhaps it's a good choice, but this one doesn't quite get my mark of approval, unfortunately. Anyway, thanks for watching. Comment below with any feedback that you have, give the video a thumbs up, and of course, click that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Thanks for watching.